Muslims in Ghana and across the world will today celebrate al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice. It's considered the most important event on the Islamic calendar. The occasion commemorates God's gift of a ram in place of Prophet Ibrahim's son, Ishmael, who was on the verge of being sacrificed as a mark of faith. Well, ahead of festivities, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin visited the livestock market in Kumasi and now reports farm animals are in high demand.
A major part of the three-day celebration is the symbolic slaughtering of animals. Potential buyers of animals, particularly sheep and cattle, complain about high prices. One needs between 2,500 cedis and 3,000 Ghana cedis to buy an average size cow. Sale centers are busy with people going round the various sheds in search of their precise size and convenient prices. Some almost give up after many rounds of search without landing a deal.
The
market is not good at all. Potential buyers are not buying. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, but for now, it isn't well. The safer has made things difficult since morning. I only sold one cow.
This year they so
this year is not good. We only pray the government will help bring the situation under control.
But
Time is running out for both buyers and sellers as the hours count down to the D-Day on Friday. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
Well, away from the Islamic festivities, which will bring you a lot more details on the show, let's take you on a trip to Adan, where illegal salt mining, referred to in Gadangbe as Achiapo, is said to be wreaking havoc for many residents in the community. And for many of them living near the Songo Lagoon, salt mining is a major preoccupation. But that source of livelihood is gradually fading away as some unscrupulous people have taken to Achiapo, an illegal method of mining salt, with the people arbitrarily carving out private salt pans from the lagoon. In doing so, they forsake the communal access that allowed everyone to benefit from the resource. But the residents and the Ada Songo Salt Women's Association mounted a fight, not with guns and clubs, but with a dance drama. Maxwell Agbagba sat through the performance, highlighting the menace, and has come through the report.
Sounds of men, women and children on stage singing in high-pitched tones. The title of the song is Achiapo, the illegal salt mining that has plagued the Songo community. Child walks up on the stage. She starts yelling. It is clear Achiapo is wreaking havoc on families and communities, bearing the brunt most are women who formerly had equal rights to win salt independently and supported their families with the proceeds. A Ghanaian born in the Philippines, Liliana Kwamin, is a professional choreographer. She assembled some of the residents and the members of the Dance Songo
Women in
Women's
particular and other people
to stage the dance drama.
Able to
She says the effect of Achiakpo is enormous.
Many women are now forced to work for very little, sometimes for 1 cedi for a big basin of salt. So many women are now really struggling to do the things that they were able to do before, and that has then led to a whole range of other issues. Teenage pregnancy, for example, has risen a lot. Women who feel that they are forced to perform sexual acts in exchange for money or in exchange for being allowed to win salt in the Songor. So it's had a really negative effect on women in particular and on families. Then, of course, there's the environmental aspect.
With Achiakpo, many of the women have now become laborers working for the owners of the legal carved-out private salt pans from the lagoon. And sometimes they have to agree to sexual favors from the owners. The anger generated over the menace is what will make the Vishna Queen mother of Kabiechu, Nene, Adede, and Wandin Kiteku the first make this emotional promise of stopping the problem.
Let me ask my fellow Queen mothers, are we afraid? Are we afraid? My fellow queens, let us come together. I urge you all this evening. Let us come together and join the struggle so that Achiakpo must stop. And I personally promise that until Benahood moves to Donsini, I will never turn back. I will follow the struggle. So Achiakpo is no more.
Majority of the inhabitants living around the Sango Lagoon in Adha, salt mining is the major occupation. But just like many other mining communities, the practice comes with its own challenges. One of them is Achiakpo, you understand, is the illegal form of salt mining. From this dance drama, we understand some of the adverse effects as land erosion and numerous conflicts that this practice They have lived the experience of Achiakpo, and that lived experience is evident in how they depict the menace. Maxwell Agbagba for JoyNews.
The march talked about free senior high school policy promised by the Akufo-Addo-led government is expected to be rolled out in 2 weeks. And ahead of the rollout, government on Thursday launched a logo to signal its readiness. Once it comes into effect, parents would be saved the burden of paying tuition, admission, library and science center fees. The other fees expected to be absorbed by government include computer laboratory fees, examination and utility fees. Students would also be supplied textbooks, whilst day students would be offered free meals. President Akufo-Addo, who launched the logo, says he expects a smooth takeoff.
The first country in the world, in modern times anyway, to institute a system of free secondary public education was the United States of America. And the United States of America did this a century ago, at a time when their level of development was not very much more than ours. I hope that all of us in Ghana can see the connection between that event and where America is today as the economic power of the world. I believe that if we understand that connection, we will all support this initiative. There will be in any new initiative some wrinkles, some glitches. But if we understand that this is important, not because a political party has made it its mantra, and that the promise that it made is being fulfilled, but because it goes to the heart of what we need to do to get our country going. Our country is abundant with talents, with creativity, with people who have all kinds of contribution to make to the development of our society. What we need to do is to provide them the opportunity to express themselves. And if that opportunity is provided, I think very, very, very rapidly we'll see the transformation that all of us want to see in Ghana. I want to thank the Minister for Education and all the hardworking people that have helped him in the education sector, that they have brought us to this day. My prayer is that in 2 weeks' time, when the program unfolds, it will do so to the satisfaction of all of us, and that a day will come when all of us will recognize that this was an important initiative for the future of our country.
The Minister of State in charge of Tertiary, Professor Kwesi Yanka, meanwhile explains how they settled on the logo.
The design highlights an open book on which is suspended a sketch of two delighted school children leaping in jubilation. Underneath the symbol are three words: access, equity, and quality, boldly inscribed. The open book represents learning that generates hope and optimism for a prosperous Ghana. The central symbol portrays two children emerging from a pleasurable learning experience as they spontaneously explode in joy. They are beneficiaries of a policy that lifts of fees from parents. But their animated mood also represents optimism for a brighter tomorrow. The highlighted themes of access, equity, and quality underline the principles that drive the policy. Access. The policy aims at widening access to senior high school education and education in general. Equity. This is a fundamental driver in any social intervention program. Poverty, gender deprivation should no longer be barriers to education. The government is eager to ensure a fair and a just society where there are equal opportunities for all, irrespective of family circumstances. Quality. The expected expansion of access to education will be achieved without the need to compromise quality. The package comes with it qualitative instructional material, improvement in school infrastructure, as well as teacher motivation and capacity building for them. The open book stands for learning that is made accessible so others can share. Free education is the foundation for national development. It generates hope for future generations and enables students from diverse backgrounds to study towards transforming lives and uplifting their communities. The color code, red, gold, and green with black in parts, represents Ghana's national flag identity. The free SHS policy adds value to prevailing free primary and junior high school policies to make pre-tertiary education a totally free undertaking that should eventually position Ghana to enhance the quality of its human capital to boost national development.
The Minister of Information, Mustafa Hamid, says the growth of media and accessibility to information by the citizenry requires media and information literacy. He says the advent of social media and the growth of mainstream media places a burden on both information givers and receivers to be educated on what and how to communicate. He said media organizations such as Joy FM had become so critical that government officials could just not afford to say anything and get away with it. Mustafa Hamid was speaking at a Media and Information Literacy Symposium organized by the University of Ghana School of Information and Communication.
The era of government rediffusion sets is over. You know this Akasanoma radio and so on. There's this Kongi's Harvest. Is there a book called Kongi's Harvest by Wally Shoyinka? He says in it that we shouldn't be like government rediffusion sets that talk and talk and talk and does not take a lone word in reply. That used to be the case. Now, Joy FM even has what it calls facts check. And when a president or a vice president, and the latest one I heard was yesterday, they said they were doing a fact check on what the vice president said at the MPP rally in Cape Coast. And they would take your speech one after the other and say, this is true, this is partially true, this is wholly true, and so on and so forth. So it means that we are in an era where even a president or a vice president cannot get away with the things that they say. You cannot. It will be fact-checked. And therefore, information literacy becomes even more important.
And that's it for the latest news updates. And know that Muslims across the world, well, today they are celebrating al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice. We'll bring you the latest events, sight and sound, and especially as our Muslim brothers and sisters prepare for the events, we'll lead you to the various communities in Accra, and then also lead you subsequently to Independence Square and the various areas across the capitals where we have congregation of Muslim faith and youth to make sure that they mark the day. Later today, the Black Stars will also take on their Congolese counterpart in a 2018 World Cup qualifier. Well, qualification looks bleak for the nation, but the Stars have assured they have quality. So we'll get in touch with Benedict Owusu-Dankwa, who is in Kumasi. The phone lines will also be activated, and you can also comment on social media. Well, how about that? But the GRAD Foundation, yesterday we talked about them, has been operating on needy people in the Greater Accra and Eastern regions. Mama also witnessed one of such surgeries, and we will show you what she saw. So please, stick and stay. It's right on this channel. And we'll try and wrap up with entertainment, but you can get interactive wholly throughout the rest of the time or the period on this program on social media. So Facebook, we have our page, JoyNews on TV. We stream live there, fortunately. We also stream live on our YouTube channel, My Joy Online TV. As you do that, we have our Twitter handle, and we have the platforms for you also to talk to us about. Today, we'll be opening a phone line so you can also get interactive through that medium as well. But right now, we hope you enjoy this. When we come back, we'll bring you the latest we have of the news tidbits on the few newspapers we have in the studio, and then also the various online portals. Of course, we have to start with myjoyonline.com. We'll do that when we come back, right after this.